I remember way back, maybe 40 years ago. Um, Keith Blevins, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
He and a couple of other people had written, I don't know what you call it, an essay or something that explains what's now called the three principles for publication in, I think, the American Psychological Journal or something like that. And of course, there's a lot of editing and stuff that goes back and forth. And the journal kept changing the statement about the difference between what we're thinking and that we're thinking. And they kept changing that to what. And Keith would write back and say, no. And I don't know how many times that went on. Guess how it came out in the journal?
Who won the journal?
The study of what we're thinking. You know, whoever did the final edit didn't, send it back or something. And they could not see. Well, that's the whole point. Yeah. That we hadn't been able to see that what we're thinking isn't what we need to look at. We need to see beyond that to the fact that we are using our thinking to create our experience. And what we're thinking is not really so much our business. It's how do you feel? Can you feel when you're up in your head, overusing or misusing your thinking, or trying to find an answer in your thinking, and versus when your head is clear and calm and what you need for the moment has room to show up? I don't think there could be any more difference between what we're thinking and that we're thinking. And when we're emphasizing or making important or giving attention to what we were thinking and why we were thinking it, and we get all caught up in that, you can feel the pressure and the tension in that. Whoever's doing that, you can feel it. You can even feel when somebody goes from describing how we create our experience into sliding into content.
Yeah.
You can feel what happens.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's so important to know that. Otherwise, we're always making up exceptions using content. Like yesterday, you were, playing devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
And these are the things that people want to know this, and they want to know that, and the more you talked about it, the more there was, right?
Yeah.
So either you were just trying to show me how intense people feel about that, or you got lost in the content while you were telling it. It's kind of like
totally that.
So that's all. I mean, that's really, I hope that if you can watch yourself do that, you will never forget that, and you will help other people see that. You will never forget that. And that is awesome.
Yeah.
That when we, I mean, most of us don't get a chance to watch ourselves forget it. We can feel it and go, what is that? I don't know what is that. But then we watch it and go, oh my God, I had no idea I was doing that. And you will never forget that. And that is excellent news.
I do remember coaching with you, and that was essentially all you did. Was point out, as I love that expression, as I slid back into content.
I'm boring. That's it.
You're a one-trick pony, Mavis.
I am. I don't understand why people want to keep listening because I'm boring. I say the same thing all the time. I'm not tired of it though, because the side benefit of passing this on to other people is that I just keep seeing it deeper and deeper and deeper, and have more and more respect for the truth of it all.
So I'll just share this because it's what's coming up for me, right? So as someone listening to you and having a conversation with you, or as a client of yours, or doing this kind of interview, creating this thing, you're going to tell me I'm back in content again, I know. But it
isn't a matter if I tell you. If you see it, that's the big deal.
Yeah, so I'm stuck because there are now no words I can say. I can't respond to you because everything is content. So what is an appropriate?
That's a great response. That's
like everything I want to come back to you with is content. It's all content.
That's right. That's
so and this is content. But I can't spend my whole life mute. I like having conversations with my friends. I love asking you questions and hanging out, and
it'll just be,
but it's all content.
Way deeper. It'll be way deeper. You will think less, you may say less, but it'll be way more powerful. But it'll feel ordinary. Because the reason there's so much ordinary is it's perfect.
I guess when you say that, it's, when you're out having a conversation about who's got the most fish fingers at the tea table, or what are people's plans for Halloween, and there's a feeling of neutrality.
Yeah. It's just
that when we slide into content, it starts getting that feeling. Yeah.
But it's kind of like I love talking to children. I don't mean professionally, I like that too, but talk about content. But they are, they're not editing themselves all the time. They're just, they think this and then they think this and then they think this and then they ask this and then it's just like, it's like they're using the innate gift of wonder. And what is more fun than listening to a little kid doing that? It's just, and when we get unenamored of our ego content, will come more from wonder. And what could be better than that? To realize that the wonder you had as a child is still there. And the less you try to, I don't know, impress yourself or other people with content, the more you'll be in wonder. That's why I always thought it'd be fun to be a true scientist. Because who's more full of wonder than a scientist? I wonder how this works. I wonder what happens if we do this. They're not all, the really good ones are not all caught up in being right. They just want to know, how does this work? What's this? What's this? That's just, that's genius.
When you say ego content, what comes to mind is that the different, when you're describing the child and the scientist, and kind of how, I guess, how we are when we're at our best. It's just there's none of me on my mind.
Yeah.
Right? That's what that means. Is it with a child? They're like they're engaged in the world.
That's right.
They're part of the world rather than separate from and looking inwards and analyzing and doubting.
They're not
They're
trying
and a
to
scientist is out exploring in the world, and you can be a scientist exploring in the world, or you can be a doubtful, insecure mode as a scientist. But what you're pointing to is that when we put down thinking and worrying about ourselves and back out into that world of wonder,
Yeah,
like a child.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I think you probably know I'm a real fan of listening. That's one of the joys of listening. You just you don't have a whole bunch of ideas of what you want to hear, or or you're not figuring out, or you're not trying to put anybody into a little box and explain them. You just want to hear what there is to hear. And it's like opening a present all the time, not having any idea what's in it. It's it's uh it's so much less work than overthinking everything and trying to be right and trying to win and trying to impress somebody, even if it's just yourself. It's just, uh, it's just, it's,
Yeah, there's such a difference, Mavis, between listening to you, like you're this amazing gift. Like, I never know what you're gonna, I don't know you well enough to know what you're gonna say next. I know
I
we're
don't know.
joking, I know we were joking, you're a one-trick pony, but you're like a gift where just amazing things come out of what you're saying. And I know what my natural tendency is to jump in and explain, and aware of people who'll be watching and listening to this video.
Yeah.
And what you're offering is a lovely alternative, which is just to shut up and listen to you. Like,
You can just
watch the gift be unwrapped rather than trying to explain it to everyone that's watching.
see if you just you're recording this. If you just play this, you're you're doing way beyond what you intended to do. Because for one thing, you're modeling what an excellent student is. And what we model is way more powerful than what we talk about. That makes sense?
How am I doing that?
You're listening.
Right.
And you're open to seeing what you didn't see before, rather than trying to prove what you do know.
Yeah,
Can
definitely.
you see the difference in that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's huge. One is there's a certain amount of pressure and urgency. The other one is, holy cow, I never thought of that before. And that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
That holy cow stuff, that's what I'm after myself. I'm very selfish about it. I want that for myself before I want it for anybody else.
Yeah.
It's because I only have one state of mind I can do anything about. So I'm trying to take really good care of it. So it's like, I mean, you're just like if you showed people this, what a gift that would be. Showing people, you're showing people how to see beyond what you thought you knew.
Yeah. That to me is the joy of learning. It's
That's right.
I already know what I think. I'm bored of that. Like, that's the root point of being here, to hear something new, right?
Hopefully, I don't know why anybody, for all the umpteen people that tune in, they've all got a different reason for it.
Yeah.
all we can do is give people the best we know so far. And hopefully, because we all want, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm way more interested in seeing what I don't know yet than proving what I do know. And so if our guests get the joy of that out of this, that's the best I know.
Yeah. And witnessing the students stumbling around, like messing it up, getting caught up, sliding into content, going back to listening, hearing something new, thinking that, oh God, I'm doing it wrong, coming back again, listening, dropping all that, coming back new. Like it's messy. Being a student is messy, and
But
you,
fun.
but yeah, but fun if you don't mind it being
Exciting.
messy.
It's oh, everything's messy. It's like life is just one of my favorite quotes is from Winston Churchill. He said, life is just one damn thing after another. Yeah, the truth. It's just messy. But so as long as we just know that, we dress for it. You know, it's like weather. Okay, there's one damn thing after another. I'm gonna put on my Teflon coat and go out and live life. It's like a kid learning to walk is messy. They take a step and they tip over and they take another step and they hit their head and they cry and then they take another step. Then they take two steps and pretty soon they're walking more than they're tipping over. But for the rest of their life, every once in a while they're going to tip over. Doesn't mean they don't know how to walk. Just get up again and keep walking.